First contact and the shocking request. The massive alien ship appeared suddenly in Earth's orbit, its sleek crystalline structure gleaming in the sunlight. Humanity held its collective breath as the first message came through. People of Earth, we come in peace and with great need. We are the Zarnay, and we seek your help. Dr. Eliana Carter stood in mission control, her heart pounding as she listened to the alien transmission. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, she had dreamed of this moment her entire life, but nothing could have prepared her for what came next. Our species faces extinction, the alien voice continued. We require human assistance to save our race. We humbly request volunteers to aid in our reproduction. A stunned silence fell over the control room. Eliana's mind raced. What do they mean by assistance? Surely they couldn't be asking for. Holy shit, muttered General Davis beside her. Are they propositioning us? Before anyone could react further, the aliens made their intentions crystal clear. We seek human genetic material and surrogates to carry our offspring. Without your help, our civilization will perish within a generation. We offer peaceful exchange of advanced technology in return for this vital aid. Chaos erupted in mission control. Government officials shouted over each other, military leaders demanded defensive measures, and scientists frantically tried to make sense of the biological implications. Eliana stood frozen, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what was being asked. The fate of an entire alien species hung in the balance, and humanity's response would shape the course of both civilizations forever. In the days that followed, the world was gripped by a frenzy of debate, fear, and curiosity. News channels ran non-stop coverage dissecting every aspect of the alien proposal. Religious leaders denounced it as an abomination, while others saw it as humanity's chance to prove itself on the galactic stage. Eliana found herself thrust into the center of it all as governments and scientific institutions clamored for her expertise. She worked around the clock analyzing the limited biological data the Zarnay had shared, trying to determine if their request was even possible. Their DNA structure is remarkably similar to ours, she explained to yet another panel of officials. It appears we may be genetically compatible, but there are still so many unknowns. The physiological differences alone. But it could work, pressed the UN Secretary General. Eliana hesitated. In theory, yes, but the risks to any human volunteers would be extreme, and the ethical implications are staggering. As the debate raged on, a vocal segment of the population began to rally in support of helping the aliens. They argued it was humanity's moral duty to prevent the extinction of a sentient species if they had the means to do so. Others were vehemently opposed, seeing it as a threat to human purity or a potential trap. Protests erupted in major cities, both for and against the alien proposal. Eliana watched it all unfold with a mixture of awe and trepidation. She understood the fears, but her scientific curiosity burned to learn more about these beings who had crossed the stars to seek humanity's help. 2 weeks after first contact, the UN Security Council convened an emergency session to determine Earth's official response. The eyes of the world were on them as representatives from every nation gathered to debate humanity's next move. Eliana sat in the gallery, heart racing as impassioned arguments echoed through the chamber. The gravity of the moment weighed heavily on everyone present. This decision would irrevocably alter the course of human history. We cannot in good conscience doom an entire civilization to extinction, argued the French ambassador. If we have the power to help, we must do so. Think of all we could learn. And risk contaminating the human genome, countered his American counterpart. Not to mention the violation of using women as alien incubators. It's unconscionable. Round and round the arguments went, each side making valid points. Eliana's mind spun as she considered all the ramifications. The scientist in her longed to unlock the mysteries of alien biology. But could she in good conscience advocate for putting humans at such risk? As the debate stretched into its 5th hour, the Chinese ambassador rose to speak. We have deliberated long enough, she said firmly. It is time to put this matter to a vote. Will humanity extend its hand in friendship to these visitors, or will we turn our backs on their plea for help? A hush fell over the chamber. This was the moment of truth. One by one, each Security Council member cast their vote. Eliana held her breath as the tally was counted. It all came down to this. The Secretary General's voice rang out. By a vote of 8-7, the Council has decided to accept the Zarne's request for assistance. A roar went up from the gallery. Eliana sat in shocked silence as the magnitude of the decision washed over her. For better or worse, humanity had just taken its first step onto the galactic stage. In the weeks that followed, the world scrambled to prepare for this unprecedented venture. An international task force was assembled to oversee the project, with Eliana appointed as lead science advisor. A call went out for volunteers willing to participate in the alien reproduction program. Despite the risks, thousands came forward, driven by a mix of altruism, curiosity, and the promise of alien technology as compensation. Eliana worked tirelessly to establish medical protocols and screening procedures for potential surrogates. The ethics committees debated endlessly over every aspect of the arrangement. Finally, after months of preparation, the day arrived for the first human delegation to depart for the Zarne homeworld. Eliana stood at the base of the sleek alien shuttle, heart pounding as she prepared to board. This was it, the moment that would change everything. As she took her first step onto the ramp, Eliana sent up a silent prayer. May we have the wisdom to navigate this new frontier, she whispered, and may our two species find a way forward together. With that, she ascended into the unknown, carrying the hopes and fears of all humanity with her. The journey to the Zarne homeworld took several weeks, even with the aliens' advanced faster-than-light technology. Eliana spent the time studying everything she could about their biology and culture, preparing herself for the monumental task ahead. As they approached the alien planet, Eliana pressed her face to the view screen in wonder. Twin moons orbited a world of shimmering purple oceans and emerald continents. It was breathtakingly beautiful, yet undeniably alien. The shuttle descended through wispy lavender clouds, coming to rest in a vast crystalline city that sparkled like a jewel. As the airlock hissed open, Eliana took a deep breath of alien air, relishing the slight sweetness that tickled her nose. A delegation of Zarne waited to greet them. Eliana's breath caught as she got her first up-close look at the aliens. They were tall and slender, with iridescent skin that shifted colors like the surface of a soap bubble. Graceful tendrils framed faces with large, expressive eyes. "Welcome, friends," said the lead alien in a musical voice. "I am Zara, chief geneticist of the Zarne. We are honored by your presence and grateful for your willingness to aid us." Eliana stepped forward on shaky legs. "The honor is ours," she replied. "I am Dr. Eliana Carter. We look forward to working together to ensure the future of your species." As Zara led them on a tour of the alien city, Eliana's mind whirled with questions and observations. The architecture was unlike anything she'd ever seen, all sweeping curves and delicate spires that somehow supported impossible weights. "Your world is incredible," she breathed. "I can't wait to learn more about your people and your technology." Zara's color shifted to a pleased violet. "And we are eager to learn about you as well. Come, let me show you to the genetics facility where we'll begin our work." The lab was a marvel of alien biotech. Glowing terminals interfaced directly with the users' minds. Shimmering force fields contained experimental subjects. Eliana itched to examine every inch of it. But as Zara began explaining the details of their reproductive crisis, the wonder faded into grim reality. The situation was even more dire than they'd realized. "Our population has been in steady decline for centuries," Zara said solemnly. "But in recent decades, the rate has accelerated dramatically. We are down to less than 10,000 individuals capable of reproduction." Eliana's eyes widened. "That's far worse than we thought. What caused such a drastic drop?" Zara's tendrils drooped. "We're not entirely sure. Our best theory is that long-term exposure to the radiation from our dying sun has damaged our genome beyond repair. We've tried everything to reverse the decline, but nothing has worked. She turned to Eliana, eyes shimmering with emotion. You are truly our last hope. If this fails, our entire civilization will be gone within a generation. The weight of that responsibility settled heavily on Eliana's shoulders. The fate of an entire sentient species rested in their hands. Failure was not an option. We'll do everything in our power to help, she assured Zara. Now, let's get to work. Over the next few months, Eliana and her team worked tirelessly alongside the Zane scientists. They spent long hours in the lab, comparing genetic structures and running simulations to determine the best approach. It quickly became clear that simply using human surrogates wouldn't be enough. The Zane reproductive system was too different. They would need to create hybrid embryos, combining the best traits of both species to produce viable offspring. The ethics committees back on Earth had a field day with that revelation, but given the stakes involved, they eventually granted approval to move forward with the hybrid program. Eliana marveled at the sophisticated bioengineering techniques the Zane employed. With their guidance, she was able to make breakthroughs that would have taken decades on Earth. Finally, after months of painstaking work, they were ready for the first attempts at fertilization. Eliana held her breath as she watched the alien device combine carefully selected human and Zane genetic material. A shimmering holographic display showed the resulting embryo begin to divide and grow. Eliana let out a cheer of triumph. It worked, she exclaimed. We've created a viable hybrid embryo. The lab erupted in celebration. Zane scientists embraced their human counterparts, their skin flickering with joy. But their elation was short-lived. As they attempted to implant the embryos into Zane hosts, complication after complication arose. The hybrid fetuses weren't compatible with Zane physiology. After the fifth failed pregnancy, Zara approached Eliana with a grave expression. We've run out of options, she said softly. There's only one possibility left. We need human surrogates. Eliana's stomach dropped. They had hoped to avoid this, given the unknown risks to human women, but it seemed they had no choice. I'll inform the volunteers, Eliana said heavily. But I want to be the first to attempt it. I won't ask anyone to take a risk I'm not willing to take myself. Zora's tendrils curled in surprise. Are you certain? The danger to you would be significant. Eliana squared her shoulders. I'm sure. This is too important to fail. Whatever it takes, we'll find a way to make this work. As she prepared herself for the procedure, Eliana couldn't help but wonder. What would these hybrid children be like? And how would their existence change both their species forever? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain, nothing would ever be the same again. The human ambassador's dilemma. The gleaming spires of Zane City stretched towards the violet sky, a testament to the alien civilization's technological prowess. Dr. Eliana Carter stood on the balcony of her quarters, watching the twin moons rise over the horizon. Despite the breathtaking view, her mind was consumed by the weight of the decision she had just made. Ambassador Carter. A melodic voice called from inside. The High Council is ready to see you. Eliana took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. As she turned to face Zara, her Zane liaison, she couldn't help but marvel at how quickly her role had evolved. In a matter of months, she had gone from Earth's leading xenobiologist to humanity's de facto ambassador to an alien race. I'm ready, Eliana said, smoothing down her specially designed envirosuit. The garment was a marvel of human and Zane engineering, allowing her to move comfortably in the alien atmosphere while maintaining diplomatic decorum. As they walked through the crystalline corridors of the High Council chamber, Eliana's mind raced. The hybrid embryo project had hit a critical juncture. Despite their initial success in creating viable hybrid embryos, the Zane surrogates were rejecting them at an alarming rate. The only path forward seemed to be human surrogates, a prospect that filled Eliana with both scientific excitement and deep ethical concerns. The doors to the council chamber swung open, revealing a circular room bathed in a soft, bioluminescent glow. 7 Zarnay elders sat in a semicircle, their iridescent skin shimmering with barely contained anticipation. Ambassador Carter, the central figure, spoke, its voice resonating with an otherworldly timbre. "We understand you have made a decision regarding the next phase of our joint endeavor." Eliana stepped forward, her heart pounding. "High Council, I have. After careful consideration and consultation with my team, I have decided to volunteer as the first human surrogate for a Zarnay-human hybrid embryo." A ripple of color washed across the assembled Zarnay, their skin flickering in what Eliana had come to recognize as a mix of surprise and admiration. "This is a momentous offer, Ambassador," another council member said, "but surely you understand the risks. Our physiologies are vastly different. The strain on your body could be severe." Eliana nodded sullenly. "I'm well aware of the risks, council member. But as the leader of the human delegation, I cannot in good conscience ask others to take a risk I'm not willing to take myself. Moreover, my background in xenobiology makes me the ideal candidate to monitor and document the process firsthand." The High Council deliberated silently, their colors shifting in a complex dance of communication that Eliana was still learning to interpret. Finally, the central figure spoke again. "Your courage honors us, Ambassador Carter. We accept your offer, with the caveat that you will be under constant medical supervision by both human and Zarnay physicians. The fate of our species may well rest on the success of this endeavor." As Eliana left the council chamber, her mind whirled with the implications of what she had just committed to. She was about to become the first human in history to carry an alien child. The scientific implications alone were staggering, not to mention the potential diplomatic and cultural ramifications. Over the next few weeks, Eliana underwent a battery of tests and preparations. The hybrid embryo was carefully selected and implanted using a combination of Zarnay and human medical techniques. As the days turned into weeks, Eliana found herself at the center of an unprecedented medical marvel. Her body began to change in subtle ways as the hybrid fetus developed. Her skin took on a faint iridescent sheen, and she found herself more attuned to the subtle color-based communication of the Zarnay. The human medical team watched in fascination as her physiology adapted to support the alien life growing within her. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As the pregnancy progressed, Eliana experienced bouts of severe pain and disorientation. The hybrid child was placing enormous strain on her body, drawing on resources in ways no human fetus ever had. During one particularly difficult night, as Eliana lay in the medical bay fighting through waves of nausea and pain, she found herself questioning everything. Had she made the right choice? Was the survival of an alien species worth risking her own life? It was Zora who came to her side, the Zarnay scientist's tendrils gently brushing Eliana's forehead in a gesture of comfort. "You are the bravest being I have ever encountered," Zara said softly. "What you're doing, it goes beyond science or diplomacy. You're bridging the gap between our species in the most fundamental way possible." Eliana managed a weak smile. "I just hope it's enough. There's so much riding on this." As the weeks turned into months, news of Eliana's pregnancy spread across both Earth and the Zarnay homeworld. She became a symbol of hope and unity for both species, but also a lightning rod for controversy. On Earth, debates raged about the ethics of human-alien hybridization. Religious leaders decried it as an abomination, while others hailed it as the dawn of a new era of galactic cooperation. Eliana's inbox was flooded with messages from all over the world, some offering support and encouragement, others spewing vitriol and condemnation. The Zarnay, for their part, seemed to view Eliana with a mixture of awe and reverence. Everywhere she went, she was met with gestures of respect and gratitude. Some even began to whisper that she was the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy about a star child who would save their species from extinction. As her due date approached, Tensions on both worlds reached a fever pitch. Everyone knew that the birth of this child would be a turning point in the history of both species. The question on everyone's mind was, what would this new life mean for the future of human-Zarnay relations? Eliana tried to tune out the noise and focus on the miracle growing inside her. Despite the physical toll, she found herself developing a deep, inexplicable bond with the child. Sometimes late at night, she swore she could feel not just movement, but emotions, flashes of curiosity, contentment, and something that felt almost like love. One evening, as she sat watching the alien sunset with Zara, Eliana voiced a fear that had been gnawing at her for months. "What if the child doesn't fit in anywhere?" she asked softly. "Too alien for Earth, too human for the Zarnay. Are we creating a being doomed to be an outsider in both worlds?" Zara's tendrils curled thoughtfully. "Perhaps," she replied, "or perhaps this child will be the bridge that truly unites our species. A living embodiment of what we can achieve together." Before Eliana could respond, a sharp pain lanced through her abdomen. Her eyes widened as she realized what was happening. "Zara," she gasped, "I think it's time." The next few hours were a blur of activity as Eliana was rushed to a specially prepared birthing chamber. Human and Zarnay medical teams worked in perfect synchronization, their months of preparation put to the ultimate test. The labor was intense, pushing Eliana to the very limits of her endurance. But finally, after what seemed like an eternity, a new cry pierced the air. A sound that was neither fully human nor fully Zarnay, but something beautifully, perfectly in between. As the hybrid child was placed in Eliana's arms, the room fell silent in awe. The baby's skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence, its eyes a striking blend of human and Zarnay features. Tiny tendrils framed a face that was at once alien and heartbreakingly familiar. Eliana looked down at the miracle she had helped create, tears streaming down her face. In that moment, all the pain, all the controversy, all the fear melted away. She knew with unshakable certainty that she had been part of something world-changing. As news of the successful birth spread, celebrations erupted on both Earth and the Zarnay homeworld. The child was hailed as a symbol of hope, a living bridge between two species that had once been separated by the vast gulfs of space. But even as Eliana basked in the joy of new motherhood and scientific triumph, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The birth of this child had opened up a Pandora's box of possibilities and challenges that neither humans nor Zarnay were fully prepared for. As she cradled her hybrid child, Eliana found herself wondering, what would the future hold for this new being, born of two worlds? And how would its existence reshape the destiny of both species in the cosmic tapestry? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain, the universe would never be the same again. Cosmic Cradle, the hybrid child's first steps. The iridescent spires of New Harmony City glimmered under the light of 3 moons, a testament to the unprecedented collaboration between humans and Zarnay. 5 years had passed since the birth of Nova, the first human-Zarnay hybrid child, and the landscape of both civilizations had been irrevocably altered. Dr. Eliana Carter stood on the balcony of the Interspecies Research Center, watching her daughter play in the garden below. Nova's laughter, a melodic trill that was neither entirely human nor Zarnay, floated up on the alien breeze. "Still marveling at our little miracle?" a familiar voice asked. Eliana turned to see Zara, her Zarnay co-parent, approach. The alien's skin shimmered with hues of contentment and pride. "Every day," Eliana replied with a smile. "I don't think I'll ever get used to it." Nova was a wonder beyond anything either species had imagined. Her hybrid physiology allowed her to thrive in both Earth-like and Zarnay environments. She possessed the color-changing skin of the Zarnay, but with a range of human expressions that added depth to her communication. Her intellect was off the charts, integrating the best cognitive traits of both species. But it wasn't just Nova's abilities that had changed everything. Her very existence had sparked a revolution in interspecies relations. The latest reports from Earth are in, Zara said, her tendrils curling with excitement. The Global Fertility Initiative has successfully birthed its 100th hybrid child. The genetic diversity is exceeding all expectations. Eliana nodded, a mix of pride and concern washing over her. The success of Nova's birth had led to a surge of human volunteers for the hybrid program. What had started as a desperate bid to save the Zarnay from extinction had evolved into a bold experiment in guided evolution. And what about the purists? Eliana asked, referring to the factions on both planets that opposed the hybridization program. Zora's colors darkened slightly. There have been protests outside the Earth Embassy again. Nothing violent, but the rhetoric is intensifying. They're calling it genetic pollution now. Eliana sighed. Despite the incredible advancements and generally positive reception, there were still those who saw the hybrid program as a threat to the purity of both species. It was a delicate balance, pushing the boundaries of science and society while trying to address very real concerns. "Mom, Mom, look what I can do," Nova's voice called from below. They looked down to see Nova standing in the center of the garden, her skin rippling with complex patterns of color. Suddenly, she began to levitate, rising several feet off the ground. Eliana gasped. This was new. "Nova, honey, how are you doing that?" Nova giggled, spinning slowly in the air. "I just thought about it really hard, and it happened. Isn't it cool?" Zora's tendrils twitched with a mixture of awe and concern. It seems her Zarnay telekinetic abilities are manifesting earlier than we anticipated. Fascinating. As they watched Nova experiment with her newfound power, Eliana couldn't help but wonder what other surprises their daughter's unique genetics might hold. Each day brought new discoveries, new abilities that neither humans nor Zarnay had possessed on their own. Later that evening, as Eliana tucked Nova into bed, the child's luminous eyes fixed on her with an intensity that sometimes unnerved her. "Mom," Nova said, her voice unusually serious for a 5-year-old, "why are some people afraid of me?" Eliana's heart clenched. They had tried to shield Nova from the controversies surrounding her existence, but children had a way of picking up on things. "Oh, sweetheart," Eliana said, stroking Nova's shimmering hair. "They're not afraid of you. Some people just have trouble accepting things that are new and different. But you are a miracle, Nova. You represent the best of both our worlds." Nova seemed to consider this for a moment. "I had a dream last night," she said softly. "I saw a big, shiny web stretching across the whole universe, and all the strings were different colors, but they were all connected. It was beautiful." Eliana felt a shiver run down her spine. Nova's dreams had a habit of being more than just dreams. "That sounds wonderful, sweetie. What do you think it means?" Nova yawned, her eyelids growing heavy. I think it means we're all part of something bigger, something amazing." As Nova drifted off to sleep, Eliana sat there, lost in thought. Her daughter's words echoed in her mind, stirring something deep within her. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of something monumental. The next day, Eliana found herself in a heated debate with the Interspecies Ethics Committee. The latest data on hybrid children had raised new questions and concerns. "We're seeing exponential growth in cognitive abilities with each new generation," Dr. Yara Kim, the human geneticist, explained. "At this rate, by the 3rd generation, we could be looking at intellects that far surpass anything either of our species has ever produced." The Zarnay representative, Elder Zorin, chimed in, his skin pulsing with concern. "And what are the reports of enhanced psychic abilities? Telekinesis, telepathy. These powers could be dangerous if not properly controlled." Eliana took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm of emotions swirling within her. "I understand the concerns," she said, "but we can't let fear dictate our actions. These children, my daughter included, represent the future. A future where the boundaries between our species blur, where we can achieve things together that neither of us could alone." The debate raged on, touching on issues of ethics, security, and the very nature of what it meant to be human or Zarnay. As the sun set on New Harmony City, no clear consensus had been reached. Walking home that evening, Eliana's mind was a whirlwind of conflicting thoughts and emotions. The weight of responsibility she felt was almost overwhelming. They were charting a course into unknown territory, reshaping the destiny of two species. As she approached her home, a commotion in the sky caught her attention. A swarm of bioluminescent creatures, native to the Zarnay world, was performing an intricate aerial dance. Their movements were mesmerizing, a symphony of light and motion. But something was different. As Eliana watched, she realized the swarm was forming patterns, complex, mathematical sequences that seemed to pulse with meaning. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Nova's voice startled her. Her daughter stood beside her, eyes fixed on the sky, hand outstretched towards the swarm. With a jolt, Eliana understood. Nova wasn't just watching the display, she was orchestrating it. Somehow, her hybrid mind had found a way to communicate with these alien creatures, to guide their movements in ways neither humans nor Zarnay had ever managed. In that moment, as mother and daughter stood together under an alien sky, watching a display of impossible beauty, Eliana felt a profound sense of hope wash over her. Yes, the path ahead was uncertain. Yes, there would be challenges and opposition. But looking at Nova, seeing the miraculous bridge she formed between two worlds, Eliana knew they were on the right track. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and together, human, Zarnay, and the new life they had created, they would explore it all. As the bioluminescent swarm dispersed, Nova turned to her mother, her eyes shining with a wisdom beyond her years. "Mom," she said softly, "I think I know what we're supposed to do now." Eliana knelt down, meeting her daughter's gaze. "What's that, sweetheart?" Nova smiled, her skin shimmering with colors Eliana had never seen before. "We're supposed to show everyone how beautiful it is when different things come together, like a big cosmic puzzle." Eliana felt tears well up in her eyes as she hugged her daughter close. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever opposition they might face, she knew in that moment that they were part of something truly extraordinary. The journey of two species had led to this point, and now, with Nova and the other hybrid children leading the way, they were about to embark on the greatest adventure of all, the adventure of becoming something entirely new together. As the last light of the alien day faded, Eliana looked up at the stars, wondering what other miracles awaited them in the vast cosmic ocean. Whatever came next, she knew one thing for certain: the future was bright, and it shimmered with the colors of two worlds united. Cosmic resonance, the awakening. The holographic display in the center of the Harmony Dome pulsed with vibrant energy, its swirling patterns a visual representation of the most groundbreaking discovery in human and Zarnay history. Dr. Eliana Carter stood before an audience of the most brilliant minds from both species, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed Zarnay," she began, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was about to reveal. "What you're seeing is not just a light show. It's the first recorded instance of what we're calling quantum entanglement communication across interstellar distances." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Eliana took a deep breath before continuing. "Thanks to the unique abilities of our hybrid children, we've unlocked a method of instantaneous communication that defies our previous understanding of physics. This discovery has the potential to revolutionize not just our communication systems, but our entire understanding of the universe." The hologram shifted, showing a split screen of Nova, now a precocious 10-year-old, and another hybrid child on Earth. Their hands were outstretched, skin shimmering with complex patterns. Between them, a stream of data flowed, represented by a bridge of light. "What you're witnessing is Nova, here on Zarnay Prime, sharing complex mathematical theorems with her counterpart on Earth, in real time, with zero delay. The implications of this are, well, nothing short of cosmic." As Eliana delved into the technical details of their discovery, she couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. The hybrid program, once controversial, had blossomed into a wellspring of innovation and progress. The children born of human and Zarnay union were proving to be the key to unlocking secrets of the universe neither species could have imagined on their own. But with great discovery comes great responsibility, and not everyone was thrilled about the rapid advancements. After the presentation, as the scientific community buzzed with excitement, Eliana found herself cornered by Ambassador Reyes, the human representative to the Interstellar Council. Dr. Carter, Ray said, his voice low and urgent, "While I can't deny the scientific merit of your work, I have to express some concerns." Eliana steeled herself. She'd been expecting this. "What kind of concerns, Ambassador?" Reyes glanced around before continuing. "There are factions back on Earth who believe this is all moving too fast. The hybrid children are evolving at a rate we can barely keep up with. Some fear we're creating a superior species that might one day replace us." Eliana felt a flash of anger, but she kept her composure. "Ambassador, I understand those fears. But you've met Nova, you've seen what these children can do. They're not a threat. They're the bridge to our future. A future where pure humans might become obsolete." Reyes countered. Before Eliana could respond, a familiar voice chimed in. "Or a future where the very concept of pure anything becomes meaningless." They turned to see Zara approaching, her tendrils swaying with barely contained emotion. The Zarnay scientist had become more than just a colleague to Eliana over the years, she was family. "Ambassador," Zara continued, her voice melodious but firm, "we Zarnay once feared that accepting human help would dilute our species, weaken us somehow. Instead, it saved us from extinction and opened up possibilities we never dreamed of. Perhaps it's time for humans to embrace that same spirit of adaptation." Reyes looked like he wanted to argue further, but at that moment, Nova appeared, her skin shimmering with excitement. "Mom Zarmom," she exclaimed, "I need to show you something. It's important." Eliana exchanged a glance with Zara. They'd learned over the years that when Nova said something was important, it usually was. "Excuse us, Ambassador," Eliana said politely, "duty calls." As they followed Nova to a quieter part of the dome, Eliana couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The opposition to the hybrid program had been growing lately, becoming more organized and vocal. She feared it was only a matter of time before things came to a head. Nova led them to a small meditation chamber, its walls lined with bioluminescent crystals that responded to thought patterns. As soon as they entered, the crystals began to pulse with an otherworldly light. "I had another dream," Nova said, her young face serious beyond her years. "But this time, I think it was more than a dream. I think I touched something out there." Eliana and Zara exchanged worried glances. Nova's dreams had a habit of being prophetic. "What did you see, sweetie?" Eliana asked gently. Nova closed her eyes, and suddenly the crystal-lined walls came alive with images. Stars, galaxies, swirling nebulae, but all connected by threads of light, pulsing with energy. "It's like a giant web," Nova explained, her voice distant. "All of space and time connected. And there are others out there, Mom. Other species, other civilizations. I could feel them." Eliana's scientific mind raced with the implications. Was this a manifestation of Nova's growing psychic abilities? Or had she actually made contact with something beyond their known universe? Zara's tendrils curled with a mixture of awe and concern. "Nova, darling, are you saying you've discovered other intelligent life?" Nova opened her eyes, and for a moment, Eliana saw the vastness of the cosmos reflected in her daughter's gaze. "Not just discovered," Nova said softly. "Connected, and they're waiting for us. For all of us, human, Zarnay, and everything in between. We're part of something so much bigger than we ever imagined." As the images faded from the walls, leaving them in a soft, pulsing glow, Eliana felt a shiver run down her spine. They stood on the precipice of something monumental, a discovery that could reshape the destiny of not just their two species, but potentially all life in the universe. But with that knowledge came danger. If Nova could reach out and touch these other civilizations, who was to say they couldn't reach back? And how would the factions opposed to the hybrid program react to news that their creations were making contact with alien intelligences? As if reading her thoughts, Zara placed a comforting hand on Eliana's shoulder. "Whatever comes next," she said softly, "we'll face it together. As a family and as a united species." Eliana nodded, drawing strength from Zara's touch and Nova's unwavering gaze. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever wonders or terrors the universe held in store, they would meet them head-on. For in the end, that was the true legacy of the human-Zarnay union, not just the miraculous children they had created, but the unbreakable bonds forged between two species who had once been strangers across the vast gulf of space. As they left the meditation chamber, stepping back into the bustle of the Harmony Dome, Eliana felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with both promise and peril. But with Nova lighting the way, bridging not just two species, but potentially entire galaxies, she knew that they were on the brink of the greatest adventure in the history of both their kinds. The cosmic dance was just beginning, and together, human, Zarnay, and hybrid, they would face the music. Cosmic confluence, the galactic awakening. The harmonic nexus thrummed with an energy unlike anything ever witnessed in the known universe. At its center, Nova stood with her arms outstretched, her iridescent skin pulsing with patterns of light that defied description. Around her, a circle of hybrid children joined hands, their combined power creating a swirling vortex of quantum entanglement that stretched across the stars. Dr. Eliana Carter watched from the observation deck, her heart pounding with a mixture of pride, awe, and fear. This was the moment they had been working towards for years, the culmination of the human-Zarnay hybrid program and the dawn of a new era for both species. "It's happening," Zara whispered beside her, the Zarnay's tendrils quivering with excitement. "They're making contact." Before them, a massive holographic display showed the fruits of their labor. Streams of data flowed in from across the galaxy, each representing a different alien civilization that Nova and the other hybrids had managed to contact through their unprecedented abilities. "My God," breathed Ambassador Reyes, who had insisted on being present for this historic moment. "How many are there?" Eliana's eyes scanned the readouts, her scientific mind struggling to process the sheer magnitude of what they were witnessing. At last count, over 1,000 distinct civilizations, and more are joining every minute. The implications were staggering. In one fell swoop, humanity and the Zarnay had gone from being alone in the universe to part of a vast, interconnected galactic community. Suddenly, Nova's voice rang out, amplified by the Nexus's advanced technology. "Mom Zarmom, everyone, they're ready. The Galactic Concord wants to address us." A hush fell over the observation deck. This was it, first contact on a scale never before imagined. The holographic display shimmered and coalesced into a breathtaking image. Beings of all shapes and sizes, some recognizably humanoid and others utterly alien, appeared before them. Each seemed to glow with an inner light, their forms partially translucent as if they existed on multiple planes of reality simultaneously. A figure at the center stepped forward, or rather, flowed forward, its body a swirling mass of cosmic energy barely contained in a vaguely bipedal form. "Greetings, children of Earth and Zarnay Prime," it said, its voice resonating not just through the speakers, but seemingly through the very fabric of space-time itself. "We are the Galactic Concord, a union of civilizations spanning this galaxy and beyond. Through the remarkable abilities of your hybrid offspring, you've achieved what few young species ever do. You have touched the cosmic consciousness that binds all sentient life." Eliana felt tears welling up in her eyes. This was beyond her wildest dreams. beyond anything she could have imagined when she first volunteered to carry a hybrid child all those years ago. The being continued, its form shifting and swirling as it spoke. Your union of two distinct species to create something new and wondrous has not gone unnoticed. It is a rare and precious thing in this vast universe, a testament to the power of cooperation and the infinite potential of life itself. Ambassador Reyes stepped forward, his earlier skepticism replaced by a look of wonder. We are honored by your words, but I must ask, why have you chosen to reveal yourselves to us now? The cosmic being's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. Because you are ready. Your hybrid children have unlocked potentials that usually take millions of years to evolve naturally. They are the key to your ascension, the bridge between your current state and what you might become. Zara's tendrils curled with curiosity. Ascension, what do you mean? Evolution on a cosmic scale, the being explained. The ability to transcend the limitations of physical form, to explore not just the vastness of space, but the very fabric of reality itself. Your hybrids have taken the first steps on this journey. Now, we offer you the chance to join us, to become part of something greater than you ever imagined. The observation deck erupted in a flurry of excited whispers and gasps. Eliana's mind reeled with the possibilities. This wasn't just first contact, it was an invitation to join a galactic community, to evolve beyond anything they had ever dreamed possible. But even as excitement coursed through her, a note of caution tempered Eliana's joy. She thought of the factions back on Earth, and Zarnai Prime, who still opposed the hybrid program, who feared change and clung to outdated notions of species purity. How would they react to this? As if sensing her thoughts, Nova's voice rang out again, filled with a wisdom far beyond her years. We don't have to choose between who we were and who we might become, she said, her gaze sweeping across the assembled crowd. This isn't about leaving our humanity or our Zarnai heritage behind. It's about embracing all that we are and all that we might be. Together. The cosmic being nodded, its form shimmering with approval. Wise words from one so young. The path of ascension is not about abandoning your roots, but about growing beyond them while still honoring where you came from. Eliana stepped forward, her heart swelling with pride and purpose. On behalf of Earth, Zarnai Prime, and all our hybrid children, we accept your invitation. We have much to learn, but we are ready to take our place among the stars. As cheers erupted around her, Eliana felt a hand slip into hers. She turned to see Zara, her co-parent and partner in all this, smiling at her with eyes shimmering with emotion. We did it, Zara said softly. We saved our species, and in doing so, we've opened the door to the entire universe. Eliana squeezed her hand, overcome with emotion. No, she replied, her gaze drifting to Nova, still standing at the center of the harmonic nexus, her form now glowing with the same cosmic energy as the beings on the holographic display. We just provided the spark. They're the ones who will light the way forward. As the Galactic Concord began to outline the first steps of humanity and the Zarnai's integration into the cosmic community, Eliana knew that they stood at the dawn of a new era. There would be challenges ahead, resistance from those who feared change, the monumental task of preparing two entire civilizations for cosmic ascension, the unknown dangers that might lurk in the vast expanse of the universe. But looking at Nova, seeing the limitless potential that had been born from the union of two species, Eliana felt nothing but hope. They had come so far, overcome so much. Whatever the universe had in store for them, they would face it together, human, Zarnai, hybrid, and now, part of something even greater. The cosmic dance had only just begun, and their melody was about to join a grand, universal symphony.